Despite Black Myth Wukong being, at least for me, one of my favorite action-adventure games I have ever played, rivaling some of the best games even in the Souls genre. Despite it easily, in my opinion, being one of the best, if not the best game of 2024, and even despite getting great review scores of over 80 on both the user and critic reviews pretty much anywhere you look at it. This game has been kind of slandered by the media, all to the point where they're not even making this as the console game of the year for the upcoming Joystick Gaming Awards. But before we get into this story that really pissed me off, thank you guys so much for 760 subscribers. I really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, you like gaming news and gaming reviews, specifically within RPGs and action adventure games, and you like the video you see here, please like the video and subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Now, let's get into the video. So to break down why I don't think this game is being up there as the game of the year for at least the Joystick Awards, although there are obviously more Game of the Year awards to come. But this all dates back to when review codes and people that were reviewing the game were given a list of instructions by the team over at Game Science. And this list of instructions gave the following, basically saying, do not insult other influencers or players, do not use any offensive language or humor, do not include politics, violence, nudity, feminist propaganda, fetishization, and other content that instigates negative discourse. Do not use trigger words such as quarantine or isolation or COVID-19, and do not discuss content related to the Chinese game industry's policies, opinions, or news. And to me, these list of instructions are saying, when you're doing your review process, don't talk about any discourse outside of the actual game, the actual game's mechanics, the actual gameplay, the progression systems, the bosses, the customization. This is the stuff that matters. Please don't talk about anything else aside from the actual game. And a lot of other publishers and developers will do this as well. And after this, because of these guidelines, the company was labeled as a sexist company. And this doesn't even include the IGN hit piece that came out with pretty much blatant misinformation or non-proved information within the article that was kind of just debunked within the next coming weeks. But then all of this discourse around the game and around the company as a whole then translates into worse review scores from a lot of the gaming journalist sites that paint this game from the media in a bad way, despite getting good reviews from those other gaming journalist sites who kind of saw through this bullshit. Because if you go to Metacritic right now and you look at the critic reviews, you will see the infamous Screen Rant review, when they literally are saying one of the biggest issues that this game has is the lack of diversity, which, number one, is just annoying, but number two, that's not even true. You didn't play the full game if that is something you took away from the game. There are tons of examples of diversity within the game if you get past chapter maybe 2 or 3. Chapter 4 by itself is solely based around the Spider Sisters and the whole family of them when you're going through it. I don't want to spoil too much, but it's one of my favorite chapters. But despite all of this, the game still got very good reviews, specifically from users, with the game breaking Steam records, going to over 2 million concurrent active players playing the game at a given time. And that's not to say all of these people thought this game was a masterclass or a masterpiece and didn't have any issues, because yes, the game had a couple of issues, like the lack of immersion with the invisible walls. On top of this, the lack of performance from time to time, specifically on PC. But other than this game was a borderline masterpiece, a borderline masterclass, and in my opinion, a 9 out of 10, and probably for me, the game of the year, pretty much hands down. The combat was absolutely incredible and had amazing progression where you're constantly getting new things to refine the way you're playing the game based on the combat encounter you're currently in, which you can obviously refund and change those up for free at any given time if you needed something different for the next boss. The exploration of, aside from the invisible walls, was very good, with a ton of different secrets and rewarding items that you could find. On top of all of this, the bosses were freaking incredible. The gear and the entire gear sets and the bonuses you could get could really make an overpowered build where you could refine your entire character around. Overall, this game was absolutely incredible. I could go on and on about the things that this game did well, and in my opinion, it was one step away from being a perfect 10 out of 10 game. But the media, especially the ones who were criticizing the studio and criticizing the game at the start for things that were number one, unfounded, but number two, had nothing to do with the game itself and how good it actually was, are seemingly blackballing this game from being in contention for the game of the year, at least the console game of the year on the Joystick Awards. And no, this is not the first time a fan favorite game has not gotten nominated. You see games like Stellar Blade, Hogwarts Legacy, Days Gone. These games didn't get nominated either in previous years. However, I think Black Myth Wukong is a different beast than these other three games. Like I said, Black Myth Wukong was the first game ever developed by Game Science. It came out to over 2 million concurrent players on Steam, and I think personally was better than all three of these games. These three games also had different competition when being up there for the game of the year, although I do think Hogwarts Legacy should have been nominated, at least for some shit, because that game got completely destroyed, which again was a game that had a ton of controversy coming out around it. You also have other issues here going on, specifically with IGN, where IGN had some issues with the community results for their Game of the Year rankings, where just within an hour, the game goes from 90% winning Game of the Year all the way down to 74%. Again, within 1 hour, which kind of leads you to think that maybe IGN, the same place that was putting out the hit piece on this game, does not want to put this game up for the game of the year. So overall, I just think there's a lot of agendas being pushed here as to why Black Myth Wukong can't be up there or at least nominated for the game of the year. I don't think it has to win by any means, but it needs to be nominated. It was definitely one of the top games this year, both in terms of how good the game was and the reception from players who played this game in full. But again, there was a lot of controversy surrounding this game, and I don't think they want to put it up there because of the controversy. I don't think they want to put it up there because it's a non-Western developer releasing a borderline masterpiece as their first game. I don't think they want to put it up there and have it win with all of this controversy surrounding it when these people came out and said bad things about the game that had nothing to do with the game itself. So it's definitely a bummer, but I appreciate you guys for watching the video. Thank you guys so much for the support recently. It's been amazing. Like this video if you liked the video, subscribe for more content like this, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace!